Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So we got some interesting news with Battlefield 6, basically relating to mouse input and them essentially lying to their player base. So we're going to talk about what's happening now with Battlefield 6, what needs to be fixed and changed, and how this design philosophy that's occurring in Battlefield 6, that's ruining Battlefield 6, has been plaguing the FPS industry for the past, I don't even know, 5-6 years, really since like 2019. So we're going to just talk about that in general because I feel like everyone needs to be aware of this, okay? Basically, it came out that mouse input is fundamentally flawed in Battlefield 6, and this isn't really a surprise to anyone. I put out a video the day after this game came out, providing what I thought is the best solution to fix your mouse aim in Battlefield 6. And of course, it's something flawed on base game architecture within the engine. And I said to turn off uniform soldier aiming and mouse ADS soothing, right? So when you go down ADS, it transitions the sensitivity. Then a few weeks later, some big YouTubers with hundreds of thousands of followers said they came up with the solution and no one gave me credit, which is of course how it goes in this, so if they really came up with that solution and didn't see my video, I apologize. But if they watched my video and then said that was their solution and didn't give me credit, that's incredibly cringe. So either way, that doesn't matter. Who cares? The point is, I knew mouse input was false the first match I was in with Battlefield 6. You could notice it, and I'm sure you guys watching this video could feel it too. It felt terrible. Of course, it felt terrible in 2042. So that begs the question, is this an irreversible, unsolvable problem? If the same problems exist in 2042 and the same problems exist in Battlefield 6, it may not be fixable. And apparently, Frostbite's a horrific engine to be a developer on. Apparently, it's like one of the worst, most difficult engines to program with. Game design is an iterative process. If you don't know what iterative process is, just look it up. It's basically a linear process, but you're also able to circle back and fix things. So you're designing for the future, but also to be able to, in the future, go back to and update. Sometimes that doesn't follow suit. And if it's spaghetti code, if it's the patches are unorganized, if there's not good documentation on the lines of code, it's going to be impossible to go back. I mean, millions and millions of lines of code. It's just so this problem existed before, but now essentially there's this guy on Twitter. His name is Abdullah and his @ is LQL_00. Go check him out. Shout out to him for being adamant about this because he's been tweeting at the devs saying, hey guys, you need to fix your game. Like, he's doing his own tests, he's doing his own research, he's proving that something is wrong. And basically a principal game designer replied to him and said, we're looking into it. I don't think it's a bug that we are looking at though. Recoil essentially is added to your aim input. So if you move your aim against the recoil, it will feel more sluggish. If you move your aim with the recoil, it will accelerate it. So we're applying vector physics to mouse input in relation to recoil control. This is fundamentally flawed and should never exist in any FPS game ever. He's basically saying, yeah, if you try to counter recoil, you're gonna be penalized. Excuse me? What are we doing here? This is an FPS game. So you're penalized for trying to counter recoil, which is directly the purpose why gamers choose to play on mouse and keyboard. Is this interface with your mouse and mouse pad? That's aiming mechanics, that's skill, that's talent. That's what we play FPS games for. What I'm going to say here goes back to why FPS games have been dead since 2019. The true culprit for FPS games being bad for the past 5-6 years is crossplay. And I'll tell you guys why. So let me just say this first of all. I don't care if you play on controller. I don't care if you play on mouse. I don't care about the aim assist discussion. I don't care about if you play on console, if you play on Wii, if you play on mobile. I don't care. I'm not that type of person. I'm not an elitist. I'm not an egomaniac. I'm not a narcissist. I don't care how you game. I think gaming is dope. And I'm just a dude that makes videos on YouTube, okay? So play how you want, I don't care. But here's the truth about gaming. Okay, 2019, Call of Duty released, and it introduced extreme SBMM and crossplay. Now, the SBMM thing, I think, has been in video games for a very long time because that's essentially the matchmaking function. Every game has some sort of protocol or function for how players match together. I think it's the magnitude of that function, how specific it gets, right? Because if it just says players within plus or minus, this ratio and have this ping, match them together. But if it says players with plus or minus 1% win rate, this percentage of accuracy, this KD, and this score per minute, match them together. That is ranked. That's an ELO based ranked matchmaking system. So 2019 COD introduced basically public games that are ranked, extreme SBMM, and then it also introduced crossplay. And crossplay is a fundamental problem with FPS games because every game with crossplay has a lower skill ceiling because they have to design the game for controller console players. They know those players are going up against enthusiast PC gamers. And again, I get it. A lot of people have lives, they have kids, they have families, they have 10-hour shifts a day, they can't game all day. I have more respect for those people. I get it. I understand. But when you match those people up against enthusiast level PC players, it's GG's, dude. It's two different people. That's like someone who's never lifted in their life going to like a powerhouse gym and trying to rep out 300 on a bench. It's like, dude, it's not logical to even compare those two things together because they're different levels of enthusiasm. So when you put those people in games together, it's just a bad design. It's not, I understand the perspective of those controller players on console. It's not fair for them to be put up against them, but then it's not fair for the elitists who have worked really hard to get good at games to be playing a game where those low-level players feel better. And you're probably like, how do those low-level players get better? Well, let's talk about it. For one, aim assist, okay? I don't even really want to get into it, but here's in Battlefield 6, aim assist, it's like on controller, I think, what is it, a 25% aim reduction? That's insane. Look at any grip in the game. I don't think any grip in Battlefield 6 offers a 25% buff to recoil. So essentially every controller player has a grip that reduces recoil 25% off rip. Then you look at what mouse is dealing with. We can't even compensate for recoil without feeling sluggish. So clearly that is either a bug or an intentional design to make mouse players worse. What are some other designs used in crossplay games, especially, let's just focus on Battlefield 6. What are some other things in Battlefield 6 that lower the skill ceiling and make make good players bad? Visibility. Visibility in Battlefield 6 is some of the worst I've ever seen in any FPS game. I mean, I feel like I have better visibility in Tarkov. I feel like I have better visibility, way better visibility in DayZ. Arma, PUBG has some of the best visibility ever. The visibility in Battlefield 6, I mean, dude, the player skins blend in. There will be times where a guy's like 10 feet away from me prone and it's impossible to see him. So when you lower visibility, it makes the playing field even because good players can't see that well. Bad players can't see that well either. Now it's an even playing field. What's another thing? Footstep audio. Footstep audio was perfectly fine in Battlefield 2042, unlike aim, right? We looked at aim in 2042. Aim was flawed in 2042. It's flawed in Battlefield 6. Footsteps were fine in 2042. They're horrifically flawed in Battlefield 6. To me, I think it's an intentional design, again, alongside invisibility being poor intentionally. I think footstep audio is bad because some games it's consistent footstep audio. Some games throughout the entire match, it's no footstep audio. And then some games within the match itself, it's inconsistent footstep audio. One life you get footsteps, the other life you don't. So there's like 3 possibilities and it's random always. It feels so bugged and flawed. It's either a massive bug in the game or again, an intentional game design mechanic to take away footstep audios to make bad players better. Because when good players have footstep audio, dude, it's GG's, man. In PUBG, there's footstep audio is so directionally clear, 360, you can instantly tell the direction someone's in. You can also tell if they're on a roof. You can tell if they're on 3rd floor, 2nd floor, 1st floor, or ground level within a second of hearing the footstep. That's how good footstep audio design is in PUBG. And good players, a game like PUBG with a very high skill ceiling, use that to their advantage. So We have mouse input being false, and it's either bugged or a way to balance and level out the playing field. We have visibility being horrific, which is another way to balance out. Good players come down, bad players come up. It's more neutral, lower skill ceiling. So that's true for visibility, and it's also true now for footstep audio. So all of these, those are like three really core inputs for FPS gaming. Footstep audio, visibility, input. Those are essentially like all of the three pillars of FPS for your playmaking ability, and they're all flawed and bugged. This type of design needs to stop in gaming, man. And some people probably are listening to this and don't care. Some people are listening to this and do care, but I think it's important to know the truth about what FPS gaming has become, and it's that. And it's all in the effort to keep player numbers high and to sell skins in the shop. This is a massive problem. I hope it gets fixed. Battlefield 6 is, so far, man, I'm disappointed with the game. All right. I thought the beta was incredibly fun. I was happy. I was always skeptical of the game because I know how this goes. I never was fully sold on this game being a good launch. I was always in the back of my, I actually made a tweet about it too, saying, I'm not buying into the marketing and all of the, it's at the end of the day, the number one most important thing for a game's success, listening to community feedback and post-launch support. Those two things matter more than anything else for an FPS game. So is this stuff going to get fixed? I don't know, but that's what's wrong with the game right now. And if those things do get fixed, this could go down as an incredibly fun Battlefield. But it's a very frustrating experience to play this game currently, especially if you're a solo player. Speaking of that, if you guys want to stop by a live stream, I'm live on YouTube evenings, randomly throughout the week, sometimes every day, sometimes every other day. Just follow me on Twitter if you want to know when I go live. Stop by and ask any questions. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys gain some insight as to what's going on in Battlefield 6, but this needs to get fixed, and we're the ones in power that can push this to get fixed. All right, so let me know in the comments what you guys think, and thanks for watching.